Welcome, everybody, to episode 2 of College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. Thank you so much for all your comments on episode 1. I read them, I took them to heart, and I hope you all can see that I've shortened the intro music. So that is proof that I do read my comments and I listen to them. I appreciate all the negative and positive comments. There were some comments about how I should put maroon and gold colors into my logo. I'm not going to do that. Although this is the Gopher by the Grace of God Studios, this is a college football program, so I don't want to put, I'm a Gopher guy, Sky Yuma, row the boat, but this is a college football program, so I like the logo the way it is. I like the music the way it is, but we're going to keep it shorter for you all. So I do appreciate all the comments. And here in episode 2, we are going to talk about SEC football because it means more, right? Correct? So I'm going to do my predictions for SEC football. It's just going to be a quick synapse of all the teams. I'm going to predict them from 7th place to first place in each division. A lot of interesting stories in the SEC, that always is. Great football, the best football in the country. So I'm going to do my predictions. And then at the end of the episode, I do want to take time to ask you to all ponder a question that I have for you in regards to more stuff about Notre Dame, this decision they have to make in regards to keeping their football team independent or joining a conference. I do have a question. The information that we learned about the Big Ten contract affecting Notre Dame's decision, I think there's a little nugget of information that we need to really do a deep dive. I want you to make some comments on the comments down below the video, and then we'll talk about it on the next episode, episode 3. Okay, so let's get with our SEC predictions. Again, the SEC football, the best conference in the country. I don't know what they've won, 12 of the last 16 national championships. I don't know, some number like that. Georgia won the national championship last year. Alabama actually won the SEC conference last year. So let's get to it. SEC East, pretty obvious. I got Vanderbilt at number 7. I'm sure you all do as well. I think the story for Vanderbilt this year is a quarterback, A.J. Swan. Don't think he'll start this season. Maybe Ken Seals. I'm not sure what's going on there. I know he threw a lot of interceptions last year. But the development, when does A.J. Swan get into play? That's going to be the storyline for Vanderbilt. You know, same thing with Missouri. Missouri's probably best player on the roster is that 5-star Burden. You know, when your best player is going to be a true freshman, you're not going to, I know they'll probably go 4-8, 5-7. I think Vegas has them at 5 wins, 4.5 wins maybe. So I think the consensus, Vanderbilt 7, Missouri 6. I think pretty much we all have that. Florida, I've got number 5 in the SEC East. First-year coach Billy Napier dominated the Sun Belt Conference. This is his first year. He was a big target for lots of Power 5 programs the last few years, looking for a new head coach coming out of Louisiana. First-year head coach, replacing Dan Mullen. I think he's got a quarterback. Anthony Richardson. It's going to be very interesting to see how all that works. They start the season at home in Gainesville against Utah. Now that's a tough first game of the year. Florida has lost a lot of defensive players. They don't have much depth. It's been reported that their defensive tackles is really thin, and they're playing against a physical Utah game. First game of the season at home. They're going to get beat up a little bit. You know, I got Florida at 6-6, possibly, coming in 5th place. I know that they've lost. They had a serious injury to Ricky Pearsall, the transfer from Arizona State. He was supposed to come in and fill up that wide receiver room. He just got injured. Was just announced this morning or yesterday. So Billy Napier's got a tough job. I hope the people at Gainesville gives him enough time to develop that program. So I got Florida as the 5th place team in the SEC East. And South Carolina, got them as number 4. The quarterback from Oklahoma, he's supposed to be the star quarterback, Spencer Rattler, coming out of high school. He's got an incredible arm. He's got a first-round NFL draft arm. We've all seen it. The intangibles at Oklahoma, you didn't really have it. That leadership, I don't know. There was something going on there with Spencer Rattler. South Carolina had the worst quarterback room in Power 5. All of Power 5 last year, they had the worst quarterbacks performance. They really struggled. Coach Beamer has now got his guy in the transfer portal, Spencer Rattler. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Again, I love watching the guy throw a football. Beautiful spiral. He reminds me a little bit of his ball in flight, reminds me of Dan Marino in the late 70s or mid 70s, playing for Pittsburgh Panthers. Incredible arm. But let's see if he can learn some leadership under Beamer. He's taken a program that's been pretty much one of the doormats in the SEC for the last few years. I got them coming in 5th. I got them coming in 4th in the SEC East. And 3rd place, I've got Kentucky. Kentucky won 10 games last year. Coach Stoops has done an incredible job in Kentucky. But they did lose Wan'Dale Robinson. Great receiver, a transfer from Nebraska. Will Levis, their quarterback, has been shooting up the NFL draft ranks, the draft boards. There's a lot of hype for this young man. He keeps getting better and better and better. Kentucky's program has revitalized for the last 6 or 7 years under Stoops. And the problem with Kentucky for me in 2022 is that Florida's going to be better, South Carolina's going to be better, and Tennessee is going to be much better. Tennessee is a team that I've fallen in love with, and I've got them as the number 2 team in the SEC East. Hendon, that quarterback, Hendon Hooker, I love that guy. I think he's going to be a star this year. I love that offense. Everybody loves that offense. That offense equals wins in college football. Yes, they had a terrible defense last year. But I know I'm falling for a trap. I know I've fallen in the hole. I've fallen in the trap. Tennessee coming in. I got them coming in 2nd place. They've got a tough schedule. Let me look it up here. They got a tough schedule. I know November for them is brutal. They got 3 road games in November, but I think they're going to come out firing. I think they're going to pile up some wins, and I've got them coming in 2nd place in the SEC East. And of course, I have Georgia, 1st place, national champions. Got them coming in 1st place. They're going 12-0. Defense is incredible. Just like last year, basically the only weakness they've got is, and I don't call it shouldn't even be called a weakness, but their quarterback, Stetson Bennett. Game manager, if you want to say, great game manager, had a great championship game. He was absolutely fantastic. Kirby Smart got his national championship, defeated his mentor, Nick Saban. I got Georgia going 12-0. I don't see them losing a game. I don't see a loss on their schedule, and I'm pretty sure they got Nolan Smith, great defense. They're just going to be tough to beat. So got them back in the SEC championship game. I would love to pick Tennessee, but Tennessee's got a tough schedule. They're going to lose 4 games at least. Got them going. Well, I got them going 9-3. They're going to win one of those tough games. So that's the SEC East. No surprise there. SEC West. I've got Auburn coming in 7th, and I think you all probably do as well. Toxic environment down in Auburn. The coach, Brian Harsin, second-year coach. I don't think he's even going to survive this second year. They got a great running back, Tanks Brigsby. Their quarterback, Bo Nix, transferred from Auburn to Oregon. I wasn't a big fan of Bo Nix anyways. I don't know if Oregon is going to hit the level that their fans think they're going to hit here this year. But Auburn's half their roster probably doesn't even want to be there anymore. Toxic environment. Auburn got them 7th. LSU, I've got them 6th. You all are probably chuckling at me. How can LSU finish 6th? They've got so much talent. I think they had 9 first-round draft picks last year. Brian Kelly, the new head coach coming from Notre Dame. I mean, is he a real fit for LSU? He's been successful everywhere he's gone. Cincinnati, Notre Dame. So, he's a great coach, great resume. But, I think they're going to, I don't know. I think they're going to run into troubles. I think they lose. I think they play Tennessee, and I think they're going to lose that game. I know they play Arkansas. I can't remember if it's home or away, but I think I got them losing that game. So, there's no place to put them but 6th place. Yeah, I do have Arkansas in 5th place. Great culture. That culture is set. Love their KJ Jefferson quarterback. He's coming on strong. He's getting better and better and better. I think Arkansas is ready to go. So they need Hazelwood, transfer from Oklahoma, the wide receiver. They need him to become a star for KJ Jefferson. But again, they've got a great culture there. But they might be a better team this year than they were last year, but they probably won't have a better record. I know that the games that Arkansas lost last year, they got absolutely blown out. And then they won some close games. But I've got Arkansas coming in 5th place. I got Mississippi State finishing 4th in the SEC West. They've got, they got the Pirate, Mike Leach, their head coach. This is his 3rd year, so it's time for him to make a jump up for Mississippi State. I think they're getting better. I love their wide receiver, Jaden Wally. His younger brother plays for the Gophers, but he needs to be more of a target. They spread it out quite a bit at Mississippi State. Real Rogers, the quarterback at Mississippi State, I think needs to find Wally a lot more. But I think Mississippi State ends up in 4th place. I've got Ole Miss in 3rd place, Lane Kiffin. I think Ole Miss does take a step back from last year. I mean, I think they won 10 games last year. I think they won the Sugar Bowl. My mind's not too good, but I think Ole Miss takes a step back. They're not going to get as many wins as last year. I think they're a team on the rise, but this year they take a step back. I don't know who's really going to be their quarterback. It's between Jackson Dart and that Altmaier. Don't know who's going to win that job. I think it might be Altmaier at the end. I know there's a big competition for the quarterback job. So So I got Texas A&M coming in second place in the SEC West. Their defense is going to be excellent. But the problem I have with Texas A&M is the development of the wide receiver core under Jimbo Fisher. They just don't make explosive plays. I think they rank one of the worst teams in Power 5 for explosive downfield plays. They do not develop their wide receivers. Case in point, Dylan Wright, who's developing incredibly well at the University of Minnesota. It's going to be the Gophers' number 2, possibly number 1 receiver this year. Transferred from Texas A&M. He came to Minnesota completely raw after 2 years of being with Jimbo Fisher. If you check the stats, Texas A&M just don't make plays downfield. But they're so talented on defense. They are so, they've got a good schedule this year if you check out their schedule. So they should finish in second place. And, of course, Alabama got them finishing first in the SEC West. I think they have the best football player in all of college football, the defensive edge rusher, Will Anderson Jr. I think he's going to be the Heisman Trophy winner. I know defensive players don't win it, but I think he's going to win it this year. He's an incredible talent. I believe he's going to be the number 1 pick in next year's draft. I think he's the best player in Alabama, even though Alabama has last year's Heisman Trophy winner quarterback, Bryce Young. If that doesn't tell you how great Will Anderson Jr. is, I don't know. Bryce Young won the Heisman. There's one weakness I think that Alabama might have this year. One thing that might trip them up is that the health of Bryce Young. Bryce Young seems to be a player, a quarterback who hangs on to the ball too long. I think that's his one weakness. He doesn't seem to pull the trigger in rhythm enough. He's always trying to make the big play, and often he is successful at making the big plays, but he was hit hard last year. So the one thing that can trip Alabama up is the health of Bryce Young. So I got Alabama going 12-0. I don't see a loss on the schedule. I know that's boring to say. I got Alabama, Georgia playing again in the SEC championship game. I've got Alabama winning the SEC championship, and I've got Georgia and Alabama both going to the college football playoffs, 2 of the 4 teams. Yes, the 2 dominating teams in the SEC are going to dominate again in 2022. I wish I could predict otherwise. I wish I could give you a different prediction, but I just can't do it. I do think the surprise team in the SEC is going to be Tennessee with Hendon Hooker, their quarterback. I love that offense. I love Hooker. I think he's going to be a great one. I'm very excited to watch Tennessee. They have a very difficult schedule. I know I've fallen into the trap. So Tennessee will probably finish in 6th place because I said they're going to finish in 2nd. But that's how it goes. So those are my predictions for the SEC East and West. Please leave your comments down below. And let me know where I'm completely off the rails. And let me know if you actually agree with me on any of my predictions. I do want to finish this episode off in talking about Notre Dame. And there's one particular point that I want you all to ponder. Notre Dame has a contract with NBC, as you all know, and it ends in 2025. We know that the Big Ten contract, it's not quite official yet, but it's been reported that NBC, CBS, and Fox are their 3 main media partners going forward from 2023. And it looks like it's going to be a 7-year contract going to 2030. We also know that when Kevin Warren negotiated with all these potential media partners, that the Big Ten, that Kevin Warren made sure that whatever window they got, it was going to be exclusive to the Big Ten. In other words, we know that Fox Sports, the noon game, Eastern Time, big noon game, is always going to be a Big Ten game. Right now, it can be a Big Ten game or a Big 12 game, for example. Oklahoma played in a lot of those big noon games on Fox. But going forward from 2023 on, that is going to be an exclusive Big Ten window. The 2:30 game on CBS, the second big game of the weekend, is going to be 3:30 Eastern Time, 2:30 Central Time, 12:30 Pacific Time. That slot is going to be an exclusive Big Ten game. The game is going to be played at a Big Ten stadium. The home team's going to be Big Ten. The Big Ten's going to have ownership of those media right, for that game. The primetime game at NBC, the tripleheader, the third game, is going to be an exclusive Big Ten game. It's going to be played at a Big Ten stadium. So, that's starting in 2023. So ponder this. Does that mean that starting in 2023 that Notre Dame will not have any games at prime time on NBC? Their home games. Notre Dame has 7 home games with NBC going all the way to 2025. Does that mean that 2023, 2024, 2025, Notre Dame won't have any home games played on NBC? They won't have any primetime games? That's my question to you. I haven't heard that asked or answered by anybody in the press. I would sure love that question to be asked. Maybe you all have the answer to that question. And please put in the comments. Because of Notre Dame, does it mean that Notre Dame, if they wanted to play a night game being distributed at home in South Bend on NBC in 2024, if they remain independent, that they would maybe that game have to be streamed on Peacock? Because it can't be played on NBC. Because the prime time slot is for the Big Ten and the Big Ten only. Seems a little off, doesn't it? Seems kind of weird. Notre Dame just lost their primetime slot on NBC going forward after 2023. Last year, 2021, October 23rd, USC played at Notre Dame, South Bend, at night, primetime, under the lights, NBC. Mike Tirico, Drew Brees announced. In another year, that can't happen. Doesn't that already devalue Notre Dame's media value right now already? Doesn't the Big Ten contract already affect Notre Dame's current contract? Am I missing something? That's what I'm asking. So ponder that question. Answer me in the comments. I really do think, if I'm reading it correctly, maybe we don't have enough information, but how I'm reading it is Notre Dame won't be playing home games at night being shown on NBC. They could be playing home games at night as an independent program in 2023, 2024, but it isn't going to be shown on NBC. Kind of interesting. Anyways, maybe I'm missing something. Please send me your comments on the comments screen and the comments below this video. If you like this content, please hit the like button. Just like you did in episode 1. I got so much support. I am so thankful. Please hit the subscribe. Please share this video. Please share this video. Even if you're laughing at my predictions, even if you're laughing, especially if you're laughing from our love of Tennessee Volunteers football this year, I think they're going to do great. If you think that's just so funny, please just send the video on to your friends. And send the video on to your friends who think they have the answer to this Notre Dame not playing prime time on NBC for the next few years after this year. Did I get something wrong? Did I misunderstand what was reported? So please hit the like button, hit the subscription, share the video. I appreciate all your comments. Until next time, we at Peek Around the Corner want you all, please take care of each other. Thanks.